ripping and running, trying to figure things out, moving around, But I had some time today. Had some time today amongst my busy schedule. Um, and it'd been a minute since I seen y'all. So I said, let me forego lunch for a minute. Let me turn on the camera, sit down, talk with my YouTube friends, my YouTube family. And as always, a lot of these topics that I decide to talk about come from the things I'm going through, and lessons I'm currently learning, attempting to learn, or hope to have learned in the near future. But today I just wanted to talk about, first off, hey, how y'all doing? Good to see y'all. Okay, we got our first message in the chat. Okay, okay. We got Prince, we got Ricky, MP. How you doing? How you doing? Sabrina. Uh, uh, so first, I just want to say hello. Good to see y'all. Appreciate y'all being here. Hopefully, you had a good weekend. If Easter is your jam, I hope that went down like it was supposed to go down for you. If it's not, I hope you had a good Sunday. Me, I had a really good Sunday. Hung out with a friend of mine. Both of my teams won yesterday, so I had a really good day. Both that was Sunday. Yesterday I had a good day too. Both of my teams won. I'm a huge women's basketball. Shout out to Iowa, shout out to UConn. Let's go. So, yes. Anyway, today I want to talk about just keep going until you can't go anymore. And I know that might sound slightly positive and slightly negative, but this is something I'm learning about life. This is actually what we do day in and day out in life, is we just keep going no matter what happens. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of times we feel like if certain things happen, that would be it. We'd be devastated. We couldn't keep going. But 98% of the time, 98% of the population, what we do is we just keep going until we just can't go anymore, which is maybe a mental break or something like that. And so when you realize that, when you realize oh, no matter what happens, I'm probably just going to keep going. It may not be the ideal situation. It may not be the situation that I want it to happen. My life at this moment may not look the way I want it to look. I may not see the way forward. I don't know what I'm going to do. But what I know, I don't know how I'm going to do it. But I know what I'm going to do, no matter what happens, is I'm just going to keep going until I can't. And then if that happens, well, then I don't have to worry about it no more. If we get to a point in life where we physically can't go forward anymore, well, then it's beyond our control anyway. If I get taxed to the limit of human capabilities, well, then it's outside of my control. And that's when I got to definitely let go, let God, let the universe. If I, as a human, have put forth all my energy and I just can't do it no more, well, then it ain't on me anymore. So I don't even have to worry about it. You know what I mean? But until then, I'm just going to keep going and doing what I feel is the right things for me to do, making good decisions, trying to be a good person. That's just what I'm going to wake up and do every day. I may be looking forward, and sometimes you look forward into the future and the path seems pretty clear. Sometimes you look forward to the future and you're on the right path. It feels like things are going the way you want them to go. Things are rolling. You're up. In those situations, it's easy to keep going. Or you might be on a situation where you're moving towards something and it feels like you got positive forward momentum. It's easy to keep going. Life gets a little harder when it seems like we're stagnating. Life gets a little harder when obstacles are thrown in our path, or sometimes it just feels like we're on the wrong path. You ever been there? It's just I feel like I'm just banging my head against the wall. I'm trying, but I just can't get ahead. I just can't figure it out. It just doesn't seem like it's working. But I think in those situations, It's really important that we realize the only thing I can do here is to keep going. Because even if you're just like, man, I just feel like I'm going to give up. What does that mean? If you think about it, what does that mean some days when you're just like, bro, I think I'm going to give up? What does that mean? Short of like taking yourself up out of here, which hopefully no one does, you always have to keep going. You know, you always have to keep going. And even if it means, I'm big on sometimes we need a break. If you're like, man, this is killing me. You know what I mean? Like if we got to hide away for a few days, if we got to call into work, if you know what I mean, if sometimes you need a break, cool. Sometimes we do need to take some time. Sometimes you need to shut the world out. Sometimes you just need to, it's okay to have a mini breakdown. Yell, scream, cry, take some time off. But then you get back to it because like that's all there is in life. All we really can do is just keep moving forward. Just keep waking up, doing what we think is right, making good decisions. That's all we can do. And I think what usually happens, because I'm a firm believer that I'm a firm believer that God wants us to have an amazing life. And so I feel that like if we just weather some of those tough times the best way we know how, if we're just like, I don't know what's going to happen, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm just going to keep doing what I do, then eventually like the dam breaks, you know what I mean? And something appears, an opportunity appears, something gives, something that's in our life that's bothering us goes away, or something comes into our life, or we get some strength from somewhere, or just something happens. Eventually, something changes, something happens. But it's just getting to that point. Life is really about enduring what can't be cured must be endured. So life is really about enduring the bad times, appreciating the good times. But we have to go through both because there's no alternative. And no matter how dark it gets, no matter how bleak it gets, it can get better. And I think we're very good at humans. I know I definitely am. I'm very good at this. Oh, I can extrapolate all kinds of negativity. I can see all kinds of doom and gloom down the road. I try not to live in those visions. I try not to wallow in that funk, but I'm good at it. But I've tried over the years to train myself to realize good stuff happens too. And it's just as likely that good stuff will happen as bad stuff. And I look back at my life at all the other times when I was in a situation and I did not know what I was going to do. I did not know how I was going to get through it. There was no enjoyable or enlightening or like happy path in front of me. I was in a situation and I was just like, well, I'm going through the motions because I got to go through the motions, but I don't know what's going on. But on the back of that, something always gave. If I just kept going, I eventually got to a better place. Sometimes it was almost like I was being tested going through those situations or those time periods so I could get to the better. It was almost like I had to earn, you know what I mean? It was almost like I had to earn the good times. I don't know if that's really how life works, but it just sometimes seems odd that there'll just be a moment where I just can't, what's going on? I can't figure it out. Nothing seems to be working. Just 6 months ago, everything was great. It was all good just a week ago. You know what I mean? Now it's just this weird, like I'm okay, but like I'm just not, I can't figure it out. What's going on? And then like fast forward 2 months and like something amazing happens. And it's like, oh, maybe I had to go through that situation to get to this situation. You know? It's on that's why I love the analogy of a trip, you know? I'm trying to turn my laptop on so I can plug my phone in. Anyway, I love the analogy of a trip, a journey, and how all parts of the journey are not exciting. You know what I mean? But you kind of have to, you got to go see grandma. you got to be on the interstate for 10 hours. And the interstate is boring, and you start falling asleep. And you know what I mean? It's just like the longest, boringest trip. But when you get to your destination, it's worth it. And I feel like life is like that sometimes, is that we have to go through these droughts sometimes. And it's just like, what is happening? Why am I going through it? Ugh. But then on the other side of it, it's like, oh, this is amazing. I like this. Hey, Kaya Michelle, thank you, thank you, thank you. Is it Kaya or Kaya? Kaya Michelle, hopefully I said that right. It's a great message. Thank you. You're welcome. And thank you so much, Super Chat Squad. I appreciate the love. Thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's like sometimes I feel like we have to go through it. And maybe that's just life. I know for me, and I'm imagining other people, sometimes when life gets weird, we think we did something wrong. I'll be like, all right, what did I do? 'Cause now, there were times in the past when I was a younger man and I was doing a lot more things that I probably shouldn't have been doing. Nothing illegal, but you know what I mean? I think there were a lot of times where I did cause things to come into my life because of my actions. When you run in them streets, you bring a lot of drama and stuff into your life because you run in them streets. But as I've gotten older and I've cut a lot of that out of my life, I think I've kept some of that belief. So sometimes when my life isn't where I want it to be, I'm going through something, I'm like, what did I do? And maybe sometimes, I did make a bad decision. But I think a lot of times it's just life. I think this happens to the Pope, the Dalai Lama, whoever else you look up to, your saintly Aunt Annie. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like this probably happens to everybody. We just have these ups and downs. We have these moments. It's just life. We just got to get through them. We just got to keep going. And most of the time, we're able to just keep going if we keep going. And like I said, if we ever get to a point where we just physically can't keep going, well, then we ain't got to worry about that anyway. It's beyond our control. And that's definitely when the powers and the forces that I believe put us here and watch over us have to step in. But up until then, what's the alternative? Giving up won't change anything. If we give up, we're still in that bad situation. Giving up doesn't change anything. Giving up doesn't fix anything. The only thing we can do is go through it. I mean, if we go back to our travel analogy, if I get so bored on the interstate that I pull over, I'm not getting any closer to my destination. I'm stuck in it. It doesn't make the journey any quicker by stopping. It's not like if I'm like, oh, I give up, I'm not driving no more, that I'll be teleported to grandma's. No. If it's a 10-hour drive, you got to drive 10 hours. You know what I mean? If you just pull over after 5 hours, you still have 5 hours left to go. So like, giving up in life doesn't change our situations. We're still stuck in it. We're still stuck in it. The only way to get through it is to move forward, is to keep going. Other than that, there's nothing changes by giving up. Hold up, there was a comment I saw that I thought was very interesting. Gazelle said, do you ever worry you might make the wrong decisions, though? I end up worrying that I will choose the wrong path, make the wrong choice, like where to live, for instance. Gazelle, yes, I do. The reason I really wanted to answer that comment is because, as someone who makes a lot of choices, especially as far as work, as far as where to live, things of that nature, I make a lot of choices like that on the regular. 2-3 times a year, I'm trying, or more than that, I'm trying to figure out, where should I go? Should I take this job? Should I do that? And so I totally get that, wanting to make the right decision. Here's something that I've really been focusing on lately, is I just need to make good decisions. You're never going to know if you made the right decision, right? Because what you make a decision, right? You make a decision, and then based on how it works out, we like to say, oh, that was right or that was wrong. But since we only see the outcome of the decision we made, there's no way we could know how an alternative decision worked out. unless it's just something, like I said, if we're, doing something illegal and we end up in jail, or like if we're doing crazy stuff, that's different. I know if I rob somebody and go to jail, that was a wrong decision. Stuff like that is obvious. But just random life decisions like, hey, should I move to Seattle or should I move to Nashville? Neither one of them are wrong. You know what I mean? It's just that, like, say we move to Nashville and it takes us 6 months to find a job or something, you might be like, oh man, I made the wrong decision. But you don't know what would have happened if you moved to Seattle. It might have taken you a year to, you know what I mean? So, like, I used to worry about that a lot. Oh man, I don't want to make the wrong decision. Now I just try to make good decisions because I can't make a wrong decision because there's no way I know it was wrong because I don't know what would have happened if I chose the alternative. So now I just make what I feel are good decisions. Like, I go on like my gut, I go on like feelings. If something just doesn't feel right, I'm probably not going to do it. You know what I mean? If something feels, and here's the thing, when you go by your gut, it doesn't always seem right on paper. It doesn't always seem right financially. It doesn't always seem right logically. When you go by your gut, it feels right internally. Other people may not get it. Other people may not understand it. A lot of times, like your closely aligned friends and family will understand it. Um, I try to make good decisions. And speaking of friends and family, I do run, if I have very difficult choices, I run it past my life counsel. That's a group of very close friends. Um, and I guess my dad is on it too, but obviously he's my dad. But the close people in my life, I run life decisions by them and I get their input because sometimes they see angles I don't see. But after that, I just like, hey, if this feels like a good decision, I'm going to make it. I don't know if it's right. Like, you know what I mean? Like, how would I ever know if it's right or wrong? I just make the decision and then I go from there. And I've started to tell myself, because sometimes I'll make a decision and then I second guess it 2 days later. You know, I'll make a decision and I'm like, was that right? Now I just make a decision and I tell myself it's fine. Because I have no way of knowing if it wasn't fine or not. So why even worry about it? Make the decision, then just keep going. So that's what I've been doing lately is just, does it feel right? I've been trying to really dial back into my moral code. You know, this is how I behave. This is what I do. This is who I am, and that helps me in making decisions too. Um, and then I just make it, and we just keep going. You know, we just make it, and then we just keep going. Hang on one second. I don't feel like I don't feel like reading that, so we're moving on. Because at the end of the day, that's life. We make decisions and we move on. I think it helps too to realize that life isn't that serious. That's why I love my womb to tomb philosophy. Uh, well, not really mine. I mean, a lot of people have been saying it. It's. I got 80 years on this planet. Possibly, or however many years I got. All I got to do is get through those 80 years. Does it really matter where I work? As long as I'm okay and I'm comfortable and I got a place to sleep and food to eat, does all this other stuff really matter? You know, I did. I just got to make it. So sometimes we get very caught up and we think life is oh so serious and we have to do it right and figure it out. No, just you just got to make it, bro. You know, what's a wrong decision? Once again, like I said, if you're trying to be a good person and live a good life and making what you feel are good decisions, that's the best you can do. You know. Now, do some of those decisions seem to lead to bad stuff happening? Yeah, but bad stuff is going to happen no matter what. Bad stuff is going to happen no matter what. So, like, who knows? Maybe you, to use our former example, maybe you moving to Nashville means you meet someone and then that person breaks your heart a year later and you're like, oh man, I should have never came here. But you don't know, something worse might have happened in Seattle. You might have moved to Seattle and fell down the stairs. You know what I mean? You just never know. So it's just that ideal of no matter what happens, I'm just going to keep going. And there are going to be things that come into my life that, I don't like, cause me pain, cause me suffering, but I'm going to keep going. And I'm just going to make the best decisions I can make. Try to keep myself educated, try to keep myself in a good mental space, follow my moral code, be around positive people. That's all I can do. That's all I got. And when we get faced with dilemmas, just do the best we can. You know, we're human. Some stuff we can figure out, some we can't. You know, I appreciate people hitting the like button. Thank y'all, thank y'all, thank you. A lot of people here. Good to see y'all. Good to see y'all. I'll definitely be in the comments a little later. Right now, kind of spieling out because, like I said, this was something that was on my chest, on my heart, and I was like, man, we got to talk about this. We got to talk about this. I was gonna do a video today, but I couldn't find a spot, so I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna sit in my hotel room in front of this picture. Uh, I'm a firm believer that the message is more important than the setting. I'm not a videographer. Uh, I don't even know what I would call myself. I like to call myself a modern day philosopher, a part time philosopher. So you know what I mean. So it's more about the message for me than how it's presented. So we're here, we're talking. But yeah, this was something that was on my chest recently because there's been things. I'm a positive person and I like to present positivity. But yeah, I go through stuff. We all do. We all go through stuff. We all struggle. Sometimes I think my friends probably get tired of having conversations. I literally do. Sometimes I think my friends be like, bro, how many times you gonna call me and talk to me about that? But I'm like, hey, that's what y'all get being my life counsel, my support system, which I think is very important. If you can find a support system, if you can find people to bounce ideas off of, you can find people to talk to. I think that's very important. But just turn into them when you need to. But ultimately, yeah, it comes down to just, all right, I'm gonna do the best I can. This seems like the move right now. Once I've made the decision, I don't have to think about it anymore. All I got to do is wake up today, do what I feel is right for today, do what I feel is best for today. Tomorrow we wake up and do the same thing. Hey, Jefferson Manchild, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Super Chat Squad, I appreciate that. Appreciate the support, Jefferson. Thank you. The continued support. Appreciate that. All I got to do is wake up today and do what I feel like is right for today, good for today. That's all I got. That's all I got. And some todays will be great, and we'll be in a good mood, and we'll be doing stuff we love, what people we love, excuse me. And some todays will be, I'm just going through the motion today. And some todays will be like, why? But it's just like, I got to get through it. I got to get through it because I know what's coming on the other side. I know if I get through enough of these todays, enough of these todays, I'll get to some todays. And I firmly believe that I'm a big believer that a positive attitude helps us get there quicker, even if it just seems that way. You know how like time flies when you're having fun? Why can't that be true in life in general? Like, if I'm down and I'm just like, ugh, it just seems like the days drag. But when I can get myself to a place, even if nothing changes in my situation, if I can get myself to a place where I'm just like, all right, let's pull out of this, Tim, let's go. It seems like pretty soon after something happens, something good happens. But those down days just seem to drag on and on endlessly. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm big on positive attitude. As soon as I can, once again, I don't think there's anything wrong with taking a break. Every single day does not have to be at the front of the column fighting. You know, it's okay to take a little break, hide under the covers for a few days. I can't deal with this right now. I'm gonna come back to dealing with it, but right now I can't. That's okay. It's kind of like a soldier on the front line. They take them off the front line eventually. You can't stay on the front line all the time. Come off the front line, take you a little break, then we're gonna put you back up there because we're in this fight. And I think that's life. Like most of the time you're fighting, sometimes it's okay to be like, hey, I'm pulling myself off the front lines for a little bit, rest, recuperate, but then I'm gonna get back to it because that's what we do. Hey, Maddie, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Super Chat Squad, thank you so much, Maddie. Said any suggestions, Tim? Drinking is fun for me, but it gets ugly. I'm a general fun guy. I think I've lost myself. Help me, please. I look up to you. Hey, Maddie, first and foremost, thank you for the support. I appreciate that. And I know exactly 1,000% where you're coming from because I was in the same situation 5.5 years ago, 5.5 years ago. And for many years before that, I was a fun guy, but yeah, I'd start drinking and then things would get weird and, then the blackout, all the negative stuff. So I understand where you're coming from. And I think you've realized that sobriety, abstinence is probably where would work for you or where you're trying to head. Like you said, drinking is fun. And so that's initially what we have to work on is getting to that point where we're like, okay, drinking is fun, but the back end isn't. Okay. The back end. I saw a quote today that said, drinking makes life easy, but then afterwards it's hard. Sobriety is hard, but it makes life easier. Choose your heart or something like that. So I think we have to realize, okay, like this is not working. I need to stop. And I think a lot of times we're caught, and this is fine, but a lot of times we're caught in that I need to stop, but I don't really want to. And so but first thing you got to realize is that never goes away. Okay. The negative stuff that comes from drinking, it never changes. You know what I mean? Like it's there for good. It's not like, oh, if I keep drinking long enough, the bad behavior will go away, the blackouts will go away, the hangovers will go away. No, it's that never goes anywhere. We just hit 100 likes. Thank you all. It never goes away. So the only way to get that monkey off your back is to quit. And so first it's getting to that point of like, okay, I've decided I'm going to quit. I am going to quit. And that sometimes takes a while to get there because a lot of times we'll say, oh, I'm quitting, but we haven't got to that place where we're really like, I'm going to quit. It takes a while. For a lot of people, it takes hitting rock bottom. For me, I just got so sick, it wasn't worth it anymore. The fun wasn't even there no more. It was fun for 2 hours and then I was sick for 2 days. It just wasn't. So the first part is getting that point where you're like, okay, I'm going to quit. And then I firmly believe you just have to work the process. Okay, every single day I cannot drink, I'm not going to drink. And I'm going to keep going even when I relapse. When I relapse, I drink for a couple of days, whatever, then I'm getting back on the wagon. I'm not drinking again. And I think if you just keep doing that, keep quitting until you quit, you can quit. But it's not a simple formula of like, okay, do this and you'll quit drinking. No, it is a process. It takes months, sometimes years. I know a lot of times people don't want to hear that, but like once you get serious about quitting, it's just a matter of quitting until you actually quit. Okay? Because it's a daily struggle. You know what I mean? The cravings and urges. Here's the thing, like, because you can't consciously just be like, oh, I'm done drinking and make the cravings go away. That's the problem. Like we think, oh, if I consciously want to quit, then I can quit. No. There's 2 or 3 other parts of you involved. There's the physical part of you that wants to drink. There's your subconscious that's prompting you to drink because you've programmed it that, hey, I like drinking because drinking is fun. And I drink every evening. So it prompts you to drink every evening. So it's going to be a daily struggle to once again reaffirm I don't want to drink anymore. And some days you'll win, some days you'll lose. But if you're just like, I'm just going to keep going until I lick this, eventually you will lick it. Eventually you will quit. The hard part is doing it every day. That's the hard part. I mean, like I said, it took me getting to the point where it just was not fun anymore, and the health risk and the issues I was having just really scared me so much that I was like, I can't do this no more. Like I just knew I couldn't continue anymore. I literally was like, Tim, if you can justify the bad behavior, everything you've done, if you can say that's you and you can accept what's happening to you, you can keep drinking. But I couldn't do that. A, I couldn't accept that bad behavior was me. That's not who I am. And B, I'm like, I don't have a death wish. You know what I mean? I don't have a death wish. So like I knew continuing to drink was killing me. I knew it was killing me. So I'm like, I want to live. I want to enjoy my life. So like I can't give up. Like I just got to keep doing this. And it sucked and it was hard. Like you know what I mean? Like it was terrible. But eventually it got easier and I was able to overcome. Um but yeah, I mean the reason why it's so hard to like give people advice or help other people quit is because it's me fighting against me. You know, it's me fighting against me. It's you fighting against you. So no one in a battle of you versus you, no one can come in and help you fight yourself. I might can give you, motivation, things like that, but no one can. It really comes down to when them urges come, you being strong enough to say no to yourself. And it's just doing what each one of us have to do individually until we get strong enough to do that. But no one outside of you can do that for you. Hey, Urban Lady, thank you so much. I appreciate the love. Thank you, Urban Lady. I appreciate that generous donation. Thank you. The continued support, because you're always coming through, showing love over the years. Said, preach, Tim, keep quitting till you quit. Yes, I firmly believe. Thank you so much, Urban Lady. Thank you. I firmly believe that's the key. Because what happens a lot is we start quitting, especially in the beginning, when you're new to sobriety, okay? When you're new to sobriety, a lot of times we think it's going to be easy, especially if we've had a really bad situation happen from drinking. We got drunk at the office party and ended up naked in the fountain, whatever. If we have a really bad situation, we're like, oh man, that was so devastating. I'm never going to drink again. And so it was devastating. So we might have a good run of a week or two, but then the cravings kick in and then we start drinking again. And then we're confused because you're like, wait a second. Especially the first few, we don't understand how hard it is in the beginning. So once you start to understand how hard it is, it gets easy to give up then, because you're like, wait a second. Because the more you try to quit and can't, the more you're reminded of like, oh, what feels like failure is easier just to keep drinking. When I'm drinking, I don't have to think about this. Every time I try to quit and I don't, I feel like a failure. I don't like that. So I think that's why I think it's a process, and that's why I think we have to have that ideal of, oh, this might take me a while, but I'm quitting until I actually quit. So it's a lot of little quits to get to the big quit, as opposed to the ideal of just one big quit, which is why I don't like using the term cold turkey and things like that, because it gives the idea that you can just quit all of a sudden. And maybe a select few people can, but the average person can't. The average person can't. So if you go into it with like, all right, I'm going to try my best to never drink again, but even if I do, I'm coming back right after that and quitting again. Then you don't, you realize, okay, I'm not a failure. I'm just building up the strength to quit. Okay. Hey, we got Maddie coming through again. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much, Maddie. Thank you. So does it get better and fun quitting? I'm lost in drinks. So it does get easier, and eventually, once you've been sober long enough, Maddie, you get used to doing things sober. So right now, and this was something I struggled with because I'm like, how am I gonna little stuff like how am I gonna watch a movie sober? How am I gonna go out to eat sober? Like, you know what I mean? Everything I did short of work, I never drank at work, unless like the boss was drinking. But like after work, I was always drunk. Everything I did, I was drunk. So I'm like, how am I gonna do any of this sober? How am I gonna live sober? Like everything I do involves drinking. And for a while there, it was very boring. If we're being honest, I spent a lot of nights like this, staring at my computer watching a movie. I spent a lot of dinners out with people, sucking down Dr. Pepper and sweet tea. Hey, you know what I mean? But eventually, the human body is amazing at adapting, right? So eventually, my body started to adapt to its new levels. So I always say about sobriety, the highs aren't as high, but the lows aren't as low. So before I was used to living up here because I was always drunk. Then my body got adapted to kind of living in here. But the good news is I'm not down here anymore. When I was drinking, I would be up here, then I was down here. Now I'm kind of in here, because I don't have those high highs, but I don't have those low lows. So eventually my body kind of got used to like enjoying a movie sober, hanging out with friends. You know what I mean? I got used to that. But it takes a while to reprogram. So yeah, in the beginning, it's going to be very boring, and that's why I was saying you have to get to a point where you're willing to fight for that. Because a lot of, and this is something someone told me a while ago, years ago, before I got sober. I said I was going to get sober. And a friend of mine was like, bro, you're not ready. He was like, bro, you're not ready. And I got so mad, but he was right. Because I wasn't ready to give up the fun. I wasn't ready to give up the partying. I wasn't ready to give up that lifestyle. I was still identifying with that. It wasn't until I got to a point where I stopped identifying with that and I was willing to let it go that I was able to get sober. The good news is it's natural for that to take a while. You know, don't think that tomorrow you should be able to just get rid of it. No, it's natural if you've been partying for 10 years that it's going to take you a while to change who you mean? That's why I don't like a lot of messaging around addiction where people just make it seem like, oh, if you were strong enough, you could kick it tomorrow. That's why I love the analogy of a relationship. I don't care how strong you are. If you're dating somebody for 10 years and you're really in love with that person, when the relationship goes south, even if you broke up with them, you are going to be in pain and there is going to be a period of grieving and heartbreak. The same is true with alcohol or any other addictions. If we've been spending years, dealing with this and it's an integral part of our life, when we start to let go of it, there's going to be issues. There's going to be pain. It's going to be hard. That's just the way it is. The human body, anything we get used to being around or we get used to doing, when we stop doing it, there's withdrawals, there's cravings, even if we know it's not good for us. But we just have to stay away from it long enough that the cravings start to diminish and we get used to living without it. That's the game. That's the game. We just have to be strong enough to resist long enough that we can resist forever, that we can let it go. I actually like that. We got to be strong enough to resist long enough that we can eventually let it go. Most of us done broke up with somebody and we went back over there a few times afterwards, hung out, you know what I mean? And then eventually it was like, nah, this isn't healthy. It's kind of the same with alcohol. When you finally decide, all right, I'm done, you go back a few times. You fall off the wagon. You relapse. That's natural. But it's that determination to be like, okay, in the long term, I'm done, is how we end up quitting in the long term. Man, that was good. That was a good segue, sidebar. Maddie coming through again. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Super Chat Squad. Thank you, Maddie. Said I'm crying. It's ruining my life. Thanks for your inputs. Maddie, thank you. And please know that there those of us out there who totally know where you're at. You know what I mean? Um, I understand about the tears. I understand about it ruining your life. I understand about it taking you out of who you are. And you wake up the next morning and you're like, how did I did what? That's not even me. You know, I understand. So that's why I always want to put the message out there. It is possible to overcome it. Please don't think you'll ever get so far into it that you can't come out of it. You know, the real you is there. You are you. There is just this substance that comes into your life and like brings out other sides of you that you don't like, and it's painful. But the moment you get that substance out of your life, it's done. It's over with. You know? So it's just a matter of doing what you got to do to get that substance out of your life. Because you are still you. Once the alcohol's gone, those other parts of you won't surface anymore. You know, they're still in there, but they won't surface anymore, you know? And you'll learn to have fun organically. You know, I have fun. So many little things just bring me so much enjoyment. I was literally tickled pink, not this hotel, but the one I was staying in last week. Um, when it got dark, the lights from the buildings around me, I would just open the window and stare at them. It was just a beautiful sight. I'm not usually in downtown areas, so to be downtown and just see lights from all the buildings around me brought me so much joy. So much joy. I bring that up to say little things. You can train yourself to appreciate little things. Whereas before it was like, man, I needed to be partying, I needed to be drunk, I needed to be around women. Like before, there's a whole recipe for Tim to have a fun Friday night. Now, I can just be sitting in a hotel room all alone, staring out the window. And I just feel so at peace and I feel so happy to be alive. Even though I might be going through some stuff, little moments like that bring me so much joy. Whereas I feel like they wouldn't have 10 years ago. You know what I mean? So it is possible to get back to being you. It is possible to get your life back. It is possible to spend every waking hour you and not the other side of you coming out or laying in the bed hungover regretting decisions you made the night before, which I've spent a lot of years doing that. A lot of years doing that. Hang on one second, folks. I got to get my battery charger. I'm streaming from my phone, so I should have done this earlier, but no, I gotta make sure it doesn't. Okay. I gotta make sure it doesn't try to. Okay, hold on. We still going? Okay, good. All right. Whoop, no. Okay, cool. Hey, Maddie, coming through again. Thank you. I appreciate that. Said, listen to you so much. Thanks. I've lost friends. Been there too. And that is one of the most painful things I think you can go through is when you do something out of character and it makes someone who you really care about and appreciate stop being your friend or stop messing with you. That's hard. When you lose a friend because you just lost a friend, yeah. But when it's like, yeah, I understand. It's hard, especially when it's not. It's like, bro, that's not even me. What was I doing? What was I thinking? Been there. It hurts, but it can be fuel for the fire to quit. And the best way to show the friends you've lost that you're not that person is to not be that person. And the only way to do that is to quit drinking. So like I take solace in the fact that their friendships I lost and things I did that, I've hurt people drunk, all that, I can never fix that. But if those people look at me now, they know I'm not that person anymore. That's the best I can do. That's the best I can do. Best I can do is never drink again and show those people I felt bad about what I did to you. I felt bad about how I behaved, and I started working on it. It might have taken me a while, but I worked on it, and now you'll never see me behave like that again. You know. Brett, yes, yes. And I think that's the process right there. That is the process right there. Just continually quitting. Say, hey, I haven't got to the point where I just can't drink it all. But like I said, you've seen progress. You've seen progress. Um, I think it's like losing weight. You know what I mean? You might want to lose 20 pounds, and you're hitting the gym every day, every time you can. You miss a few days here and there, but you've been doing it for 2 months and you're down 2 pounds. You don't stop because you're not down 10 pounds yet. I did this for 2 months. I'm only down 2 pounds. No, you take pride in the fact that you're down 2 pounds. And you're like, oh, I only got 8 more pounds to go. I'm winning. I think sobriety should be the same, but we don't look at it that way. But like, if you're like, yeah, I've been trying to quit and I'm making progress, I'm getting better, you're winning. You're down 3 pounds. You just got to keep going to get totally sober, to be down the 10 pounds, you know? But that's why I always say my views on sobriety, my messaging, I think is a little different because everybody else is just, not everybody, but a lot of people seem to just be like, oh, you just need to quit right now. Follow our plan and you'll definitely quit. And if you follow their plan and don't, you feel like a failure. But I'm like, no, like it'd be like if somebody guaranteed you could lose 10 pounds in 30 days. It's crazy. You know what I mean? You're like, I don't know what's going on here. Same with like sobriety. Like the average person, it's going to take us time. But if we view it as a process, if we view it as, okay, I'm going to get in this gym, you know what I mean? Every day I can not drink, I'm going to not drink. And that's getting me strong enough. That's building me up to that point that one day I'm going to quit for good. I don't know when it is, but every day I don't drink is getting me closer to that day. I'm winning. Last year I drank every day. This year I've only drinking, total 6 months out the year. I'm up. That's like if last year you never went to the gym, this year you went to the gym every other day. Bro, that's amazing. So I think you're on the right track. Just keep doing what you're doing. I know sometimes it feels frustrating, like why can't I kick this? But it's a habit that, like I said, it's you fighting against you. It's hard. That's some of the hardest fights you'll ever get, is to beat yourself. Especially when it's something deep down inside part of you wants to do. Hey, 123 official. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Super Chat Squad. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. And Maddie coming through again. Maddie coming through with the love. Thank you, Maddie. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Super Chat Squad. Thank you. Maddie said, my friends will never take me back. I'll start over. It hurts. I have no one to talk to. Your words give me comfort. Glad, my words and the community on here could definitely give you comfort. I know that's important. It says, no friends. You're only one right now. There's a possibility. You never know. That maybe some of your friends in future will understand. You know what I mean? You never know. Some of those people might be like, yeah, I had to stop rocking with you, but I knew it was the drink. And when they see you taking steps to change, because you got to look at it this way. To them, it might not seem like you're changing. A lot of people, and if you've never been through addiction, you don't understand. To them, it's like, okay, Tim knows that when he drinks, he does crazy stuff that alienates me, but he's still drinking. I see him out every weekend drunk. If he knows when he drinks, it does stuff that makes me not want to be his friend, and he keeps drinking, well, then obviously he don't want to be my friend. So that's why sometimes, people stop being our friend because they don't see, I want to be Tim's friend, but he won't stop drinking. But some of those people, when you stop or start, working on stopping, might come back around. Hey, I couldn't rock with you, but now that you making some changes, all right, let's see. So you never know. But I'm glad we can be friends. I'm glad we still here. We still here. But hey, you might have to get new friends. You know, you might find sober friends. You know, life, just because you ruined some friendships in the past doesn't mean you can't find some amazing friendships in the future. And these friendships might be based in sobriety, or it might be with people who don't, you know, drink or party or whatever. Life is good. You have a 39-year-old buddy with 7 kids, and he's a grandpa. Ooh, okay. That makes you feel uneasy. Why? Why? You want that many kids? That makes me feel like I made the right decision. I'm 44 and I ain't got none of that. So I'm 0 kids, no grandkids. I'm gonna start saying 0 kids, 1 grandkid, just to mess with people. No kids, 1 grandkid. They go, huh? But yeah, that makes me think I made the right decision. Ooh, 7 kids. Hey, respect. Some people like kids. I ain't knocking having kids if you want kids. Live your life. Enjoy yourself. Thank you, Hamilton. Appreciate you saying that. David said, even after I quit my job, I kept having nightmares about it. That's how you know it was time to quit. Facts. Facts. Yeah, if you quit your job and you still waking up with cold sweats, thinking about going in, yeah, you know it's the right decision. You know it's the right decision. Hey, Siegel, I agree, man. This community, I feel so blessed. Y'all don't know how many times I've been struggling, I've been down, and I get on here and I do a live stream, and the love I feel and the encouragement I get and the energy I have going afterwards. I routinely pray and say thank you. You know, I can't believe it. I literally cannot believe it. I just be like, hey, thanks. I appreciate you. You know, allowing me to have such good friends, such a good community, a YouTube family here. That I feel blessed to be able to impart a message that I think helps people, but also to get helped. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Um, so yeah, I'm Siegel, and I appreciate you sticking around. You know, being part of that community because yeah, it is amazing to me as well. Maddie, thank you. Super Chat Squad, thank you again. Says thanks, Tim. Crying badly. I'm done today. Yes, I hope not yes to the crying, but yes to being done. Yes to being done. Yes to starting today. Yes to realizing that sometime in the future, like the title says, you're just gonna keep going, and someday in the future you will look back, and the you now will seem like a different person. It will seem like a different time period. Not that it'll be a bad thing, but like you'll look back and be like, yeah, I remember when I was really struggling. I remember when I was drinking all the time. That was just a different space I was in. I'm not in that space anymore. I learned a lot from it, but it'll seem. I know for me, it seems like a different lifetime. You know, if I didn't talk about it on YouTube, I probably would forget about it. Like it's funny sometimes. Me and some of my old friends, we're still friends. Some old friends are back home. Yeah, I love those people to death. We don't talk as much anymore because I'm always ripping and running. But when we do talk, um, it's funny because the stories they have of me are the old stories. And so, you be reminiscing with your boys or whatever, um, with my girls, and they'll be like, remember that one time so and so happened? And I'll be like, oh, yeah, I did do that. There's a few stories I remember. I've told some on here, but there's a lot I've forgotten. And it's funny, like even though they know I'm sober and they've never spent any time with me now, really. So, they kind of still see me as the old Tim. And I'll be like, man, I don't even identify as that dude no more. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, I low key sometimes want to get off the phone because I'm like, I don't want to talk about this. You know? I'm like, that ain't even me anymore. But it's just funny. I appreciate that it's been long enough. And I say this to say this will happen for you as well. Can happen for you as well. That you can go, you know, the things that happened in the past, it won't even seem like you. You know what I mean? Like it'll just be like, yeah, that was a phase. This is me now, Thank you, Hectic. Butterfly said thoughts on leaving the U.S. I think that that's a solution. That's an option. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's the right option for everyone, and I don't know if it's honestly that dire. Okay, I think we hear a lot of people saying that, oh, the U.S. is done, is doomed. You got to get out of here. But part of the reason I enjoy traveling around the U.S. is that I get to see it's not as bad as everybody's trying to say it is. Um, for example, right now I'm in Portland. Everybody told me not to come to Portland. Well, not everybody, but most people was like, ooh. Most people when I said I was going to Portland were like, ooh, Port like, and I've been here like a week and I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Does it have its stuff? Yeah. But there's a lot of cool, awesome stuff here in Portland that like no one told me about. I was down walking by the what is the Willamette River? I was down walking by the river this morning, had my coffee, walking by the river. Beautiful, beautiful. You know, a lot of cool stuff about Portland. Jobs, you know, I'll be looking at jobs when I'm on places. You know, lots of single attractive women. You know what I mean? Like it's a vibe. People open minded, big on diversity. You know, there's very few cities where you're gonna see more Black Lives Matter signs. By the way, you know what I mean. But like that, as a black man, it makes you feel good. But no matter how you feel about that organization, because I'm not the hugest fan myself. But that was a tangent. But you know, I bring that all up to say is that like people go around say, "Oh, the U.S. is done. The U.S. is doomed." How many of those people are actually out and about in the US? You know what I mean? They may know their little corner, they may know their city, but you know what I mean? I just don't know a ton of people who are well traveled who are saying, "Oh, you got to get out of America." I know some people who are well traveled who are like, "Yeah, I prefer Bali better," you know, but I don't know. Like, I just don't think leaving the US is the right option for everyone. And I just think that a lot of times when people are like, "Oh, you got to get out of the U.S.," they haven't left, um, or they're downplaying what you kind of go through living in another country. I'm not saying it's bad, you know what I mean? There's stuff that comes with living in another country, and I think a lot of times people act like it's this idyllic. You move to Thailand and beautiful women are going to fall over you, and you're going to, you know, just having this amazing life, and that's possible, but that's also possible in the U.S. But like it's you know what I mean? Like it's not a guarantee anywhere you go that life's going to be amazing. There's stuff everywhere. So that's why I'm like, hey, if you think you might want to move out of the U.S., travel, go to other countries, see if you want to. And if you end up being like, yeah, I want to move to Italy and buy one of these $1,000 houses in one of these small Italian towns where everybody's moving, go for it. But I also think too, get to know America before you decide it's over and you got to leave. Like, because there's lots of spots in America that are pretty cool and got some pretty awesome people. You know, lots of places where the cost of living may not be what you think it is. Might be cheaper than you think. Um, I just think you can have a great life in America if you find the part of America where you want to be. I'll say that. Big J Buggy, how you doing? I think we got some love came through down there. One way behind these comments. Maddie came through again. Thank you, Maddie. Thank you. Said, would you suggest a psychologist? I quit every other day. Maddie, I say exhaust every resource. So, I don't believe a psychologist can make you quit, but I do believe that having someone to talk to about it on a daily basis can be helpful. You know what I mean? Like no one can make you quit. You have to quit. But if you feel like, hey, having someone to talk to about this on a daily basis will help me, then go for it. Exhaust every opportunity. Psychologist, psychiatrist, AA, what like you know, I didn't just because somebody doesn't use that doesn't mean it won't work for you. You know, so whatever try everything. And then whatever works, stay with it. Whatever doesn't work, you know, maybe let it go, but try everything. I would exhaust every resource because this is life changing. So why would you ever not try something? If you can afford it, go for it. Oh, am I pronouncing this right? CLE? Georgia in the building. Thank you, thank you. Said you deserve all the fulfillment this channel provides. You're clearly helping a lot of people. Keep on keeping on. Hey, thank you, and I will. That's what we do. Urban Lady coming through as well. Again, thank you, Super Chat Squad. Thank you so much, Urban Lady. Said I needed this today. I feel much better now. Yes. Thank you, Tim, and hugs to whoever started this conversation. Yeah, man. You know what's crazy, Urban Lady? Thank you so much for the love. Thank you. I've been really the past few days thinking about really dialing in on sobriety. Like I started that other channel about sobriety about a year or so ago, and I never really post on it. And I'm really thinking about, I'll still talk about it on here, but I'm really thinking about getting that channel going and it just being a sobriety channel. I was like really, like I got on Instagram the other day and just followed a lot of sobriety content creators. I don't know. I've been looking for something else. I've been looking for like a niche, something else to, I don't know. And I will say this too, being in Portland and seeing a lot of homeless people, which you see in most major cities these days, which is sad. But I feel like for some reason, my outlook has been different here. I'm trying not to see homeless people as like, I'm trying not to be like, oh, I'm here. I'll say this, like when I was in Denver, my outlook, I feel like was more, I'm going downtown Denver and I don't want to be bothered by these people. And I didn't mean that in a negative way, or I didn't feel like I was looking down on people, but that was kind of my thing. Now and here, it's more like I'm in Portland and this is their city too. We're all in Portland. So it's less of like, how can I avoid this, and more of like, what could I do to help? You want everybody who wants to be in a city to be able to be there, but what can we do to make sure everybody's housed and gets the help they need? And one of the things I'm like, man, like addiction plays a big part in people being on the street. And I just kind of was like, man, maybe that's an area I could do more. Is, it may not be directly helping someone I see on the street, but if I can do more videos about sobriety and reach tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of people over the years, well, that might be an even bigger, help in the long run. So I've really been thinking about that. So this conversation today has been good for me because it shows me, I feel like we're on the right track. Okay. So we'll see. I'll let y'all know if I get that other channel going. I'll definitely let y'all know. And I'll still talk about sobriety on here, but yeah, we'll see. Hey, Lucinda, see you later. Glad that the conversation could encourage you. Isabella said, I couldn't wait to come back to America when I left Mexico. Either thought it was cool. Yeah, that's what I'm the same way. Like I love, like I go down to Mexico pretty regular, and I like it. I'll like it even more when I go with somebody. But yeah, I'll be happy to come back. I've only been to 3 countries. Mexico, Thailand, the Philippines, and I definitely want to go back to Thailand. I appreciated it, but I never was like, yeah, I'm ready to live here. And it does make you appreciate home more. That's another reason I'm like, I think a lot of the people who are like, the U.S. is done, I'm over it. And maybe they are. But I'm like, if possible, maybe see a little more of America, but also go somewhere instead of just being like, this is my plan, I'm doing it, I'm going to Vietnam. Go to Vietnam for 2 weeks. See what you think. Go somewhere. Because you might come back and be like, You might come back and be like, oh man, definitely, I'm there. Or you might come back and be like, Yeah, let me try Cleveland. Okay. Maddie coming through again. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate the continued support, Maddie. You're blessing your boy with the abundance. Said if you're ever in India and in Bangalore, my door is open. Uh, Drinkers look down on here, but secretly most of Amar. I'll go exhaust with psychologist. Yeah, 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 yeah. If you think a psychologist will work for you, try it. Worst case scenario, it doesn't. I'm a firm believer too, and this is where I start getting, out there. I'm a firm believer that the energy we put towards something helps us, even if I try something and it doesn't work out. I think me just putting the energy towards it allows the universe, allows God to see that I'm trying and I get help back. Even if what I tried isn't what works, I do think that like putting energy towards something is even for our own self esteem. If I just sit around the house and be like, woe is me, I want to stop drinking, you know? But if I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna call up a psychologist and I'm gonna spend this 100 bucks and I'm gonna go, even if like 3 weeks later I'm like, yeah, I don't know if this is working for me. I know I did something. I know I did something. That's boosts your self confidence. That's positive. Positive energy put towards a problem, I think, quickens us finding the solution. Be it just the confidence we get ourselves or, the universe appreciating the energy we put in. I just think positive energy towards something is always better than not doing anything. Having a long talk about rubles and rupees. That's a good title. On rubles and rupees. Okay, yeah. Hey, 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 Maddie coming through again. Maddie showing the love. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Super Chat Squad said to people who are commenting, it's rupees, Indian. Okay, okay. It's about my life, my sister, my friends. I forward what I can. I want my life back. Hey, hey, I feel you. I feel you. I feel you. And you can have it back. You can have it back. Definitely. Definitely. Aaron, how you doing? How you doing? I'm having a great day. How's your day going? Welcome. Siegel said El Salvador's on the rise right now. Okay, okay, okay. I mean, yeah, I say find home for you. And this is something I'm still doing. I'm trying to find my next home base. But find home for you. If you got the ability to go to different places and check them out, be that domestically or internationally, do it. Do it. But I'm just saying, do your research. Or even if you're just hopping on, Facebook or whatever and asking people or reading blogs or watching videos, but like do your research, I feel, about parts of the US or parts of, different places around the world. Just kind of do your research and see what places might work for you, Because I think that's what it comes down to. That's what it comes down to is like it's not where you are, it's whether you like being where you are. You know what I mean? And I definitely don't agree with the ideal that nowhere is safe. If you think about it, the average person goes through the day safe. You know what I mean? There's no 100% safety anywhere. But the average person, I mean, think about most of our lives. How many days out of the 44 years have I been alive have I been directly in harm's way? Most of the days was fine. Even if you factor in the days I was a little nervous, but nothing happened. 95% of my life, I've been fine. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes we can get so wrapped up. That's why I don't watch the news. We can get so wrapped up in just hearing other people's stories about stuff that happens that we get fearful every day when we forget to look back at our life and realize we've been okay. Okay. And then if you think about other countries, this is what I think about. Sometimes we get scared to travel to other countries because we hear stories about it, but There are people who lived in those places their whole life, and they've been okay. You know, there's people who live there every day. Are there some unsafe cities? Yes. Are there unsafe places? Yes. But most places are okay. Like, I don't know. Yes, it's Bellum. I did know that. I did know about what is it, HPV or whatever. Yeah, I knew that. People don't want to talk about that. I know that. I feel like it's more than that. Raz Bliss, how you doing? Lisa, any home base coming up? I mean, I don't know, Lee. Like it's. I'll say yes because I'm positive outlook on life and I'm optimistic, but I don't. I won't know until it happens. So, I'm I'm not going to set up a home base until a place feels like home. So you just got to keep kicking over rocks until you find the right one. So yeah, eventually I'm gonna have a home base, but I can't be like, oh yeah, 3 months from now I'll have a home. 'Cause so yeah. Okay, I'm tired of this. So we're just gonna. Oh, it's not trying to let me do it. Oh, you better be glad. Where's Angela when you need her? I'll get it. I'll get it. Hold on, folks. Gotcha. Sometimes I don't feel like dealing with people. You get a little too in the comments, put you in a little timeout. Oh, we we got the herpes talk going. Somebody told me that years ago. They was like, there's a type of herpes that like everybody has, and I was like, nope. And I googled it. Yep, it's cold sores. It's not even really herpes, bro. I mean, not justifying it, but like, it's true. I didn't bring it up. I didn't bring it up. I'm not trying to scare nobody. I didn't bring it up. You can Google it. It's there. Like I don't. Yes, man. I ain't sharing a drink with nobody. I ain't kissing nobody. Oh, okay. I just know things. People tell me I Google. I Google. Boy, the whole chat done shut down. Everybody googling it. Whole stream. Oh man, the whole stream shut down. People like what? F box. So let's keep it. I'm just saying it's not. It's honestly not that big a deal. But yes, it's honestly not that big a deal. They like if they changed the name and called it something else, no one would care. That's why I don't mind talking about it because it's not. Like I said, it's not a big deal. Like if you just change the name, everybody. Oh yeah, a lot of people when their kids get like you said. If you just say cold sores, people. Oh okay. Yeah, people get cold sores when they're kid. Okay. But when they call it herpes, people. Whoa. Okay, I'm just telling you. You know. You hope I return again to Denver. Oh, you in Denver? Okay. Oh, you live there, CL, and you return there regularly. I'm sure. I'm sure I might pass through Denver sometime this year. Um, I don't know if I'll spend any time there, but I'm sure I'll pass through. I just been there a lot, so I'm trying to. The goal this year, and I'm doing a pretty good job. The goal this year is to hit some places I've never been before. You know what I mean? So, like I said, I'm doing pretty good. You know, I had been to San Diego before, but I'd never spent a lot of time there. So we went there, went to Austin, went to Dallas, we in Portland. I'm doing good this year, but I'm sure I'll be back through Denver. Doopy, you keep getting fired from jobs because you work for 2 months and hit a dead end, lose motivation, there's no growth, not sure what to do. I get that totally. That was why I picked up seasonal work initially. I want to travel, but I, I could go like a year, and then I was, what's the point? Um, and fortunately, bosses would keep hiring me back. Um, but because I was a good worker for the time I was there. But so I get that. I mean, I just think some of us aren't cut out to, like I said, here's what I'm hearing from that. You're the type of person that needs motivation. You need a reason. You're not the type of person who is just like, oh, we pay you. So you're like, cool, I can stay here forever. No, it's like in your life, you need greater meaning, even at work. Some people don't care. And I mean, both is fine. Some people don't care. Some people like, I got these bills, I got these babies, I got to work. Other people's like, bro, like if it don't do nothing for me, like I just can't do it. So understanding that about yourself, it's just a matter of finding a situation where that happens. Is there a situation I can find for work where I will either constantly stay motivated at the same job, or fairly regularly I can change jobs or be doing something different? I think it comes down to understanding certain things about ourselves and then designing our life around that, because we're not all the same. What works for other people won't work for all of us. But if we try to live the life they live, it's not going to work. Like you said, it's not working. So you got to go, okay, this is me. This is what I need. How do I find that? And I think you can find it. There are a lot of options for work. Um, a lot of options for work, and that a lot of people don't talk about. So I think it's possible. Richard, I see you. Said La Crosse, Wisconsin is nice. Okay, okay. I do want to get to Minneapolis this year. I don't know, we'll see, but I do want to get to Minneapolis. Like that's for that area of the country. That's where I'm going to start. I heard a lot of good stuff about Minneapolis. So, hey Gazelle, glad we could turn your day around. Yes. May says, when you quit, do you quit the people around you? Not always, May. Um, there have been times when I had to quit doing certain things with certain people. Like, I can't, if I got friends and all we do is go to the club together, if I'm quitting drinking, well, I'm probably not going to be in the club like that. So it's like, you can come by the house and we can hang out, but I'm not going to be at the club with you. But then I've also, when I was quitting, had friends who I still hung out with pretty regular, and normally we would both drink, but I just didn't drink. So it just depends. And sometimes you have friends that you can resist drinking with better than others. I got some friends, if they were drinking, I was drinking. So those are the friends that I'm like, bro, you can come through and watch a movie, but you can't drink. And a lot of times they was like, well, Tim, all I do is drink. And I'm like, I get it. But I had other friends that I could sit right next to them while they was pounding 10 beers and it wouldn't bother me. So it just depends. I don't think there's a hard, fast rule. I think you have to just find out for yourself. Hey, Maddie coming through again. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. With the rupees. Thank you. Said, Tim, come to India, Bangalore, I'll host you. People commenting is 50 cent dollar, coming under dollar, and 1.2 billion population. Tim understands me. Yeah, Maddie, I'm sorry about people commenting about you're donating. Um, I don't know why anyone else would care what you do. I do understand you. I get you. I know the money. I'm looking at the money conversion here. And I appreciate it. I don't know. And by the way, I did block one of those people who had a problem. So that's not typical for this community. I just want to say that every now and then someone will come in and care what you do with your money, but most people don't. So I appreciate you staying through, and I appreciate the love. Super Chat Squad, thank you, thank you, thank you. And there's somebody else about to get blocked if they keep talking. Um, oh, your family live in St. Paul, Isabella? Yeah. I'm trying to go. I'm trying to go. I'm trying to go if I get a chance. Ooh, Gazelle, you in California? Ooh, okay. Okay. It's rare to me to Content California. These I don't mess with it. I mess with it. Mercedes, how you doing? Tallest Lego structure ever is in the. Yeah, I want to go to the Mall of America. Yeah. Mm-hmm. 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 By the way, for people who asked, I did finally go to Powell's Books here in Portland. Everybody's like, you got to go to Powell's Books. So I went. I went. I stayed about 15 minutes. Checked it off the list. Aaron, I do think we are in the midst of a loneliness epidemic. I just think there's, I believe it just from, I believed it anyway, but just from the amount of times loneliness is brought up on YouTube here in our live streams. I'm like, wow, this is different. You know, because I've been sitting in front of these cameras live streaming for I think 6 years now. You know, and it is weird to see. Not weird. It's very informative and eye opening to see different topics become more prevalent in the stream in the chat. You know, and loneliness is definitely one of them. Um, where it's like more and more people just like, bro, I'm lonely. Like, what, and I get it. I spend a lot of time sitting in hotel rooms and Airbnbs by myself, so I get loneliness. And someone will always say, you can be alone and not lonely. Yes, but you can also be alone and lonely, and that's what we're talking about. If you're alone all the time and never lonely, great. I love that for you. Some people out here lonely, and I definitely think it's more prevalent than it was in the past. Um, I think it's affecting men and women. It does seem like more. It does seem like a lot of men are talking about it. I'm not sure why it seems like it's hitting young men so hard. I don't know. I'd have to really tap into that because I don't know. But I know because I know it's affecting women too. You know, so I I don't know. I really have to look into that, figure out why. Maybe young men are voicing it more because I feel like everybody's like dating less. You know, marriage is down. I think dating is down. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe part of it too is as men I feel like sometimes women are more open, and I could be wrong here. Ladies, let me know. I feel like sometimes as men, it's harder for us to find other men to have truly like open, talk about my feelings friendships with. So maybe even some women who are lonely from like a romantic dating standpoint aren't as lonely because they have like girlfriends in their life, you know, and they can turn to them and have these discussions. Whereas maybe we're seeing more men, especially young men, really struggling because it's like, I don't got nobody to talk to about this. Because with your boys, sometimes that ain't it. To be like, hey, man, I'm really lonely. You been lonely too? He like, nah, I get girls, bro. You know what I mean? You know, men, the male ego. Sometimes it's hard for us to be like, hey, can I just talk? Not me, I do it all the time. I call one of my friends up quick. Hey, I just need to talk, bro. Um, on some real feelings type stuff. So I don't know. I'd have to really look into that. You know? But I definitely think we are in a loneliness epidemic. I do feel like we can come out of it. I don't think it has to be forever. I don't think this is the final word in human existence. But I do think, yeah, we are in the middle of a loneliness epidemic. And until I honestly think it's going to be one of those, we all together have to accept it and work on it. You know, I feel like the factors that are causing it are bigger than each one of us as an individual. So while I can, you know, come up with remedies to try to like help my situation, I think is going to keep happening. We're going to progressively get lonelier until as a society we address some of the causes for the loneliness epidemic. If that made any sense. Yeah, I've never seen as many people like, I just don't have any friends, which is heartbreaking. Um, I do like, I don't like to. Here's the thing, and this is part of the reason I think we don't like we not demonize, but and I understand if you were the type of person who is not lonely or doesn't get lonely, it can be easy to say, "Oh, I do this, that's why I'm not lonely." Lonely people must not be like a lot of times we want to blame the loneliness on the lonely people because you might be like, "I'm not lonely." So if you are lonely, you must be doing something wrong. But I don't think it's like that anymore if it ever was. I feel like there's a lot of people who just because of whatever's going on in the world now, they're trying, but they just can't find that friend group. They just can't come up with enough life plans or enough things to keep them busy to not be lonely. I think the world is shifting, it's changing. And more people, I think these are people who 20 years ago would be fine, wouldn't be lonely. Because of the world we live in now, I think there's just more and more people who are finding themselves feeling lonely. And I don't think that blaming them is the fix. Now, there might be some people who aren't trying. The reason they're lonely, they're not trying. But I think the people I hear from, the people who are down in the dumps and just like, bro, I have no friends. I want some friends. I want to share this life with someone. I'm tired of sitting in this house. These aren't people that seem like they're not trying. These are people who seem like they live in normal existences where normally people would come into their life and they're just not finding anybody. They're trying. It's just, they just feel like there's nobody there. These are outgoing people. These are people with plans. These are people with great jobs, great lives. But it's just like, they're like, there's nobody in it. So I just feel like sometimes we want to, and this happens with a lot of stuff, we want to blame the person. And I think these days, I don't know, I think we're just living in a society that breeds loneliness. Hey, Mike01 Davis, thank you. Super Chat Squad, thank you so much, Mike. Always good to see you. So what's up, Tim, in the chat? Listen to the spiel at the beginning. I'm with the family in Miami on spring break. Hey, getting going to the Marlins Angels game. I bet you are. I know if you're down in Miami, you go to a game. So checking in. I'll listen to the rest in the car. Hey, have fun. Have fun, Mike, down there with the fam, going to a game. Sounds amazing, man. Sounds amazing. Happy for you. Have fun. And I appreciate that love. Thank you so much. Thank you. Always happy. Always happy. Here, you're doing something. Go Marlins. Go Marlins. Let's go. Thanks, Mike. I appreciate the love. Thank you. The continued support. Thank you. Lee, yeah, man. Seasonal work has been amazing for me is meeting people. Like most of my friends now either came from YouTube or seasonal work, including you, Lee. I mess with you a lot and say crazy stuff, but I do love you, bro. I do love you. You're a good friend. You a little crazy. And Cyan is fine. I literally saw him, hung out with him yesterday. So, yeah, Cyan's good. Hey, Whoop-Tama, glad to hear that you have a hope for the future. And I'm blessed that my content could help you with that. Sometimes all it takes. It's very easy, especially these days, to see no future. And I think it's a lot easier to have a bright future when you realize a bright future is possible, because you will make decisions and you'll push forward and try. You'll keep going, kind of like the title says, even sometimes when you don't see the solution in front of you. There'll be times you're like, I don't know what's going on, but I'm just going to keep putting one foot in front of the other and keep going because I know it's possible. And then that blind belief, that optimism, that one foot in front of the other leads you to, oh, this is cool. All right, lead. Whereas if you don't have that, you can find yourself just stagnating because you don't see the point. The world sucks, life sucks, everybody sucks. Why even try? That leads you to not putting in any work, and it also leads you to not going after any opportunities. Even if the universe, even if God opens up a door for you, if you don't think there's anything good on the other side of that door, you're not going to go through the door. I always say that like there's blessings waiting for us in life, but like we have to go get them. It's like an Amazon package. The driver drops it off at the door. You still got to go open the door, bring the package in. You know, and if we believe there's still wonderful, amazing stuff to happen in this life, there's still blessings. We check in that door every day. What blessings am I going to hit with today? What opportunities are going to show up today? Okay, none. Well, tomorrow I might get one then. We just keep going. But yeah, when we don't think there's any blessings out there for us, we're not even going to check for any blessings. Like, wasn't no blessings last week, won't be any this week. Yeah, so you got a great attitude, especially as an 18-year-old. Great attitude. Morocco in the building. Glad you're enjoying the videos. I'm not saying your name because I don't want to butcher it. I'm an ignorant American. If it's not John Smith, I'm gonna butcher it. So, but I appreciate the love. Is there a musician I've had on repeat lately? There is, but well, y'all know I enjoy all types of music, but I do enjoy a little ratchety goodness from time to time. So I have been listening to Sexy Red regularly on repeat. I know it's ignorant. I get it. I get it. I get it. But I love me some Sexy Red. Honore Jennings checking in. Windsor, Ontario in the building. Okay. Viral Courtroom. How you doing? Lee said you're more lonely in the city than in small towns. Is that because when you're in small towns you know people, Lee? I've been, alone in both. So for example, I was just in the suburbs of Dallas, um, and I felt very alone there when I wasn't hanging out with Allison, um, Travel Snacks. I felt very alone there because there was like nothing to do. Whereas here in downtown Portland, there's always something going on. I almost feel like I could bump into something. But and I've got recognized twice. By the way, shout out to Paul. I think it was Paul. Shout out to Paul. Um, I didn't get the other guy's name, but I got recognized twice in Portland, so that helps me feel not as alone too. When I'm just out in the mix and someone's like, "Oh, it's Tim from YouTube." Mm-hmm. 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 We here. But yeah, I don't know. Like I sometimes feel in the city, there's a potential of me meeting somebody. Whereas sometimes like a small town, if there's nothing going on, there's nothing going on. At least in the city, there's stuff to do, possibly. But I could see if you're in the city long term and you're feeling lonely. Yeah, that's different. I'm new to the city, so it seems like there's endless opportunity to meet people. But after a year, if I hadn't met any people, I might be like, yeah, I don't know. I think it depends, Lee. Oh, viral. Sorry to hear you got hit by a car. Glad you're good. Glad you're good. Bonilla checking in. Got to keep going. Katie, glad the videos are helping with your anxiety. Glad to hear that. Glad to hear that. Lou, you said before you made the decision to be a minimalist, hit the road, did the grind building up to it feel like a long road, like working to pay off debt, getting rid of stuff? Lou, I didn't have a lot of debt. So for me, there wasn't a big grind to it. Um, because I just decided to go minimalist. I didn't even know I was going to start traveling. So for me, I just wanted to try out minimalism. So this was 2013, 2014. So that was fun. You know what I mean? Like I just wanted, it felt good to downsize. And I didn't have any debt, I don't think really. So like I just didn't I didn't have a much of a grind to go through. I was always after a year or so quitting my jobs. Really, the biggest things I had to go through when I decided I wanted to travel because I'd already got rid of my stuff, didn't have any debt. It was just like selling my car, subleasing my apartment. So I just didn't have a lot to do because I don't have a lot going on. You know, I've always been pretty much a simple liver. So I can understand for other people it being a huge grind. Um, but for me personally, I just didn't have all that going on anyway. Yeah. Can I talk about Portland? Portland's cool. Portland's cool. Steven, I mentioned this earlier. I'm enjoying Portland. Like I said, everybody gave me the stank face when I said I was coming to Portland, but it's cool. Like I'm downtown. I'm in the mix. Now, they did just have the NCAA Sweet 16 and Elite Eight here, so people told me they did clean it up a lot. But did I see a guy stooped over from fentanyl this morning? Yeah, but I also saw 100 people walking by the river enjoying themselves. So I think Portland's cool, man. I'm enjoying it. I like the vibe. Hey, Aldo Ray, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Super Chat Squad, thank you, Aldo Ray. Said, I think we need to stop with the generalizations. I don't get lonely, but I understand that everyone needs different levels of social interaction. Experiences vary from person to person. I agree. I agree. I agree. It's when we generalize. And when we generalize and put someone else down, I feel like that's where we run into trouble. When you're like, people just, yeah, different people need different levels of social interaction. I love that. So, yeah, the things I do that keeps me from being lonely might not work for you. So I can't look at you and be like, oh, you're just not trying hard enough. Because it's just like, no, I need this or I need that. You know what I mean? So, like, that's where I'm like, once again, it's a cool position to get as many comments and things as I get because it allows you to see trends. And, like, I've never seen this many people talk about being lonely across the board. You know what I mean? It's also great too when like people, DM you. I get DMs on Instagram. People will tell, you know what I mean? So like I can read somebody's message and I can go look at their profile and I can be like, oh, this isn't, somebody who just. I'm not downing this type of people, but this is an example. Sometimes we think, oh, this is just some awkward person in their mom's basement who doesn't want to get out and make friends. But no, like someone will send me a message. I go look at their profile. Like this is a successful person. This is a person that like has it together. They're making the right, moves. But they're just like, bro, I'm lonely. Like what? How do I make friends? So that's why I'm like, yeah, I just feel like it's got to be something societal. If across the board, all different walks of life, all different ages, you know, men, women, however you identify, if everybody's just kind of like, man, I'm just lonely. Because I almost feel like it might go beyond, we may not be getting what we need from the social interaction we do have, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean? There may be something we're just not getting anymore that even if we're at the same level as we were before, it's not enough. Now, there are a lot of people who are just like, I just don't have any friends. You know what I mean? But like, I think even some people who do, it just feel like there's some things missing with our social interactions these days to where we're not fully getting, trust could be part of it. You could have 5, 10 friends, but if you don't trust them fully, you know what I mean? Maybe we're not as, I don't know. I don't know. I could talk about this for hours. We're moving on. Girl, thank you, Aldo Ray. Thank you again, Super Chat Squad. I really appreciate that point. Thank you. Yeah, I'm still 2 suitcase Timmy, girl driver. Yeah, still, hopped on the plane from Dallas to here. 2 suitcases. Let's go. Where's my? Oh, I was like, where's my suitcase? But my laptop is sitting on my suitcase. Okay. Who do I think is going to win the championship this year in women's basketball? Um, I have a dilemma because one of the next games is Iowa UConn, and like I love UConn, I love Iowa, so I would love for Iowa to take it all though, just because I love Caitlin Clark. Um, Better flight. I do think social media, smartphones, the internet is adding to the problem. Yes, yes, I do. I do think so. Yeah. Is it the sole reason? I don't know, but I do think it's adding to it. Yeah. It changed the way we interact. And for millennia, we interacted one way, probably the way we're supposed to interact. And now we've changed it without the research on how that will affect us. The good news is moving forward, they'll probably start researching it and we'll be able to know like, oh, it's cool we got the internet and smartphones and all this other stuff, but we're going to have to prioritize this as well to make sure we don't get this loneliness epidemic. But like you have to go through it to realize it's going to be a problem. But now we're realizing it's a problem. Steven, I have not been on the Max yet, but I might take it tomorrow because I want to go to the park. So I might take it tomorrow. Naomi, how you doing? How you doing? Happy spring. Happy spring. Isabella wants to go to a good house party with games like Pictionary and stuff. That would be awesome. You know, a nice little house party, people playing games, you know. You know what I want to go to? And I've never really done. I want to go to like a dinner party. No one invites me to dinner. Well, actually, I did get invited to one, but I want to go to a dinner party. You know, maybe because I'm not dating. You know, maybe couples do that more. But like, I just want to go to a nice dinner party. You know, go over to someone's house, a nice meal. You know, 10 people or so. Everybody eats. You talk. You know, they might have a few drinks, not me. But you know what I mean? I just want to go to a dinner party with like people I know, though. You know what I mean? I gotta tell my friends to get fancy, have a dinner party. You know, that's how you meet somebody. I'm trying to go to a dinner party and across the table be gorgeous, 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 gorgeous. You know, I couldn't think of a woman's name that I could fit gorgeous into. You know, gorgeous Gerda. Stop. You know what I mean? I'm trying to go to a dinner party. You know, just get out the. Even if you don't meet nobody, just get out the house. Be with your friend. You know what I mean? I'm blessed to be able to spend time with friends, but like I'm like, man, I want to do a nice situation. Naomi said volunteering where I met some of the coolest people. It's a good one. It's a good one. I need to try that one. Yeah, F Doctor Wings and Things dinner party. You know, BYOW. Bring your own wings. Bring your own wings. You know what I mean? Show up. You know, that is that type of stuff. I'm looking for in a home base too. Is like I'd like to have a squad again. You know, a friend group. We all lived in the same area. You know, like I want to know if there's a good movie coming out that I'm gonna go see. I want to know like, oh, me and so and so are gonna go see that. Certain, you know what I mean? Oh, if there's a game, oh, I already know me and so and so. That's what we, you know what I mean? Like I just want to have people in my life that I know certain things we're gonna do together, or when I want to do something, there's someone right and they're in the area. Now it's like, yeah, I gotta fly to a different city and find somebody, which is cool. I set this life up, but I chose this life. But I'm like, man, I want to have a squad down the road from me. We're just like, oh, what we doing? Back in the day, it used to be like that. Yo, what we doing this weekend? Um, Now it's just like, well, what am I doing this weekend? You know, unless I'm in a city with a friend of mine, like here in Portland, one of my friends is here, so like it's cool. But he's gonna be gone soon. I'm gonna be, you know what I mean? So it's like I'm kind of wanting that long term. You got a date this Friday, Lee? Okay, congratulations. With the actual person? Lou, I do like Glorilla. I was actually listening to her this morning. I do like Glorilla. Yeah, I called Glorilla when she first did FNF. I was like, that girl's gonna be a star. That young lady's gonna be a star. I said that when no one even knew who she was. Like I remember I did a chat because there's a bunch of people who hadn't heard of the song. I was like, y'all gotta listen to the song. People went and listened to it, came back. I was like, that girl's gonna be a star. People was like, and I tell you, I called it. I called it. I called it. Lou about to order some wangs. I don't mind. I feel you. Like-minded, positive people to hang out with. Yeah, NA, exactly. Just a group. You like get them glow. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Glow. Memphis Droop. Yeah, 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 yeah. Glorilla. Yeah, Glorilla. I'm telling you, man, she unique, has her own style. She had the look. Like she had star quality. Like I like a lot of the girls in her little squad. Slime Maroney, Gloss Up, Aliza. You know what I mean? Kate Carbon's cool too. She a little, but I immediately saw like Glorilla had star quality. Like she just had it. You can't buy it. You can't go to the surgeon enough to get it. Like some people just got it. She just had it. Sometimes I just see it. Same with Cardi B. The moment I saw Cardi B, I was like, she's got it. hmm Moment of essence. Taking a little break from work. We here. We here. How am I mean, Lee? I'm never mean. I'm rarely mean. F Doctor, we're still um we had to do some pivoting. We had to do some pivoting, so we're still making our summer plans again. Steven, a lot of the young girls these days are sexually graphic, so I'll be honest with you, I would prefer if a lot of them toned it down, but you know, if that's where music is at these days, that's where music is at these days. I mean, that's just kind of so I get why, and I get like, for some people, that's the music they want to make. So, but I also get like, if that's what all your peers are making, and that's what executives and people are pushing you to make, and there's even parts of me that, hey, that girl, how's it going? I was just thinking about you. That girl, I was literally just thinking about you the other day. I'm glad to see, like, genuinely. Uh, there's even the part of me that, like, if I had kids, would I want my kids listening to it? No. But at the end of the day, we're all adults. Like, is it really that big a deal if someone has sexually explicit lyrics? Like I said, keep it away from the kids if you were to, but like, other than that, we've all had sex. We all know what happens. Why does it matter if somebody raps about it? You know? We all do it. Why does it matter if somebody raps about it? I don't know. I feel like something we still have some, even myself, still have some of them like archaic views about. Why is that the worst thing in the world? When people rap about killing, no one cares. But you rap about sex, especially women, people are like, oh, you know what I mean? I just, once again, keep it away from the kids till they get a certain age. But beyond that, is it the worst thing ever? I'm asking, I go back and forth myself with this. Oh, that girl, your life's become a soap opera. Okay, it happens, it happens. You said I need to come back. Come on back to us. We here for you. We love you. We love you. Come on back. But at least she was out there having some fun, that girl, For a while there, it seemed like you wasn't getting into much. So at least you had a, at least you got, out there having some fun. You're comparing Lauryn Hill to Glorilla? Oh, okay. I mean, but Lauryn Hill was a different. I think it's okay to say I personally prefer this type of music. But sometimes I think and I mean, you can do whatever you want, but I think sometimes when we say, oh, why can't this person make music like this person? That's kind of a pointless comparison because they're two different people. Me personally, my issues with Lauryn Hill is that she's a racist. So, we we don't want to say that, but my issue with Lauryn Hill, she's a racist, so I don't listen to none of her stuff. But um, it's just two different types of music, you know. Can you sell records, rapping conscious and all that? Yeah, but you know, I love Sukiana. I love Sexy Red. To me, they're funny because they're so over the top sexualized. It's almost like they're caricaturizing a type of. It's almost like they're playing a role. You know what I mean? Which is funny to me. Anyway, hey, that girl. We always gonna welcome you back. Hey, moment of essence. Celibacy can be sexy too. You know, I ain't mad at that. I ain't mad at that. What's good? What's good? Poppy 444. Any good food spots? Lou, I did go eat at Marshawn Lynch's restaurant. What is it, Bistro? Me and my boy went down there. It was cool. It was cool. You know, it was actually in the hotel I was staying at. So, yeah, they was, that's Marshawn Lynch's restaurant. I'm like, all right, let me go try it out. It was cool. It was cool. You know, Netherlands in the building. How you doing, BWTF? A1 Gaming. Andrew, and I would agree. I would agree, Andrew, that there are certain agendas being pushed. And that's why I said earlier, it's hard when the people who sign your checks are like, hey, make this type of album and we'll push it. It's hard for you to stand up and be like, no, I want to do conscious rap. And they're like, well, you're not going to sell anything. You know what I mean? So I definitely believe that there's agendas. The reason, once again, there's a lot of violence and a lot of, especially like hip hop. That bothers me more than the sexual stuff. And it's almost like we've come to accept violent lyrics as just like, oh, that's what everybody, you know what I mean? But yeah, I definitely think that once again, I think each one of us has to, because there are times when I want certain music, I'll be like, yeah, I've been listening to that too much. I'll be like, man, I'm backing away from that for a while. I don't even want that. There's certain rappers I'll listen to, and there's other genres of music that have their issues, but like there's certain times I'm like, I'm not listening to that right now. I'm gonna turn on some Taylor Swift, because I don't want that. Some days it's cool, but I think each one of us has to determine for ourselves, like, how much time am I spending in those spaces? That's kind of for me. Is like even with television shows. You know, I subscribe to BritBox that on Amazon, um, for like the Brit. I love my British shows, and I was trying to find some new shows, but all of them are like police shows, and I'm like, I don't want to fill my mind with murder. You know what I mean? Like it's funny. Like people are like, oh, the lyrics are so violent, but then they'll go and watch police shows where every single show somebody gets murdered, or several people get murdered. That's okay. But I'm like, I don't want to be feeling. Sometimes cool. I love Law and Order: Criminal Intent. Love it, love it. I would marry Detective Eames if I could. I really would. I love that. Um, and I don't even want to get married, but for her. But like some days I'm like, I can't watch that. So I think it's important to monitor what we're bringing in at all times. Even all things are lawful, but all things aren't advantageous. You know what I mean? So some stuff is like, yeah, I know that new Gucci Mane song is ignorant, but it's hot, so I'm gonna listen to it. But not every day, all day. You know what I mean? Hey, Corey Cummins, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Super Chat Squad, thank you. Today, Tim, I just got back from my solo female trip to London and Ireland. Yes, yes. It was amazing and revitalizing. Can't wait to go explore again soon. Much love. Yes, that is awesome. That is awesome. So glad to hear you went, had a great time. I'm jealous. I'm gels about London because that's on my list. But that is awesome. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate the love. Man, that's awesome. That's awesome. Those are that. Yeah. Mm, mm. Revitalize. Let's go. Let's go. That's awesome. Good to hear that, Corey, coming. Hey, Jamonde. Everybody coming back through. Jamonde, how you doing? How you doing? Said twerking comes twerking comes before the fall. Hey, it might. It might. Hey, I'll tell you a story that lends credence to that. I forget what it's called, but in Fort Worth, in the middle of town, close by like the Amtrak station, I think, there's like this little water garden or whatever. And me and Travel Snacks was out that way, so we stopped by it, and it you can go down into it and walk around it. It's kind of like it's basically I think it's just where all the drainage water from the city goes, but they made it into a cool little feature. People go down there, take pictures. It's very Instagrammable. Um, and there was this girl who went down there with her family. It was like her dad, her mom. She probably was like 18, 19, little brother. Everybody's down there taking pictures, kids, families, and she got down to the bottom and then start twerking. Had her camera out. She was just like, and me and Allison were just like, bro, like, this is what we're doing. And me, I was like, my people. I'm like, here we go. But like, that just, and we started talking about that. The like, for the kids now, like her age group, that's the move. When you go somewhere scenic, you hit the twerk. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I was judging. But like I'm not saying it's right or wrong. But that was just funny. I'm like, yeah, that's the move now. You drop down and get one. You know what I mean? Like, but it's just what the kids do. I don't know. Maybe it is the right what happens right before the fall of Monday. You might be right. It is different. But I don't know. I don't know. I'm middle aged, so I don't know. It's Bellum. I have seen every single episode of Are You Being Served? Have you seen Are You Being Served Again? See, only the diehards know about that one. It's the sequel. It's not as good. Yeah, I've seen every episode of Are You Being Served. There might be one or two in there I missed, but yeah, that's my show. Are you free? Keeping Up. I was watching Keeping Up Appearances yesterday, day before yesterday. Yeah, that's my jam. That's my show. Uh, 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 Rose, not the Rose from season 1. Rose from season 2, Mary Millar. I'm sure she's dead now, probably, but like that, I always thought she was the slutty sister. I always thought she was so hot, even though she was like 50 in the show. I always thought she was so hot. I love her. David, how you doing? How you doing? Big weirdo, big love. Let's go. Let's go. My tip for happiness in life, Jordan. There's, I don't know if I know I mean, this is a discussion we had, but for me, my life motto is do what you love, with people you love, and interdispersed amongst responsibilities and all this other stuff. I think prioritizing spending time with people you care about and following your passions and doing things not for financial gain, but just because you like to do it. Taking time for the little stuff. I think that's one of the keys to happiness is like enjoying your life, even when that doesn't make sense. I was telling somebody the other day, I was like, sometimes I think doing the stuff that doesn't make sense, but you just want to do it, is where life is found. Now, I mean, obviously there's stuff that makes sense that you can do, but just I think we spend a lot of time these days trying to follow the game plan. But I think all of us have little dreams and desires that don't fit into anybody else's game plan. And when we do those, especially if we can find someone else to do those with, I think that's when life is special. Jamonde, coming through again. Thank you. So rap today is modern blackface, but it's so catchy. It is catchy. They make it catchy. Thank you, Jamonde. Super Chat Squad. They make it catchy. You know what I mean? It's and I think if you can realize, okay, this is acting. This is like a movie. This person is playing a character. this is a character slash an agenda. Then you can be like, all right, I'm gonna listen to this song and enjoy it, but I'm not getting wrapped up in the lifestyle or what it's promoting. I think then it's better. Ratchety goodness. We're not retired 2019. I love me some ratchety goodness. Every now and then Sukiyano will drop a song. I'm like, man, that's hot. It is ratchet as heck, but it's hot. I would never want if I ever heard my daughters, if I had a daughter singing this song, I'd be mortified. I would just hope she didn't know what it meant. But as a grown man, I'm listening to it. As a 44-year-old man, I'm enjoying myself in this hotel room by myself, listening to Sukiyana, looking crazy. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, it's been 2 hours. I'm gonna go ahead and jump off. I was foregoing lunch to do the stream. I think it's about time I eat some lunch. Stomach is getting a little weird. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. I appreciate y'all coming through. It's been a minute since I did a stream. This was so amazing. This felt so good. This was the energy I needed. Thank y'all so much for being a part of the stream, being part of the community. Big shout out to the Super Chat Squad. Y'all don't have to do what y'all do, but y'all keep doing it. Y'all, which blows my mind, and I really appreciate the support. Thank y'all so much. I love each and every one of y'all. Prayers to everybody. Keep going. Keep fighting. I'll talk to y'all later.